Hi everyone, welcome back today. I've just hit record and I realized I need to blend a little bit more. So I'm gonna quickly do that before we get started. It always looks different on camera. As soon as I hit record, I'm like, whoa, blend girl, learn to blend. It doesn't really look like that in person though. I think I'm also a little bit flushed because I've been crawling around on the floor trying to get a picture. And I guess that's exercise. I was meant to be filming this yesterday, but I swear I had the frickin' devil inside of me. Maybe this is the devil working its way out of me. All hormone related, but the world was coming to an end yesterday for no good reason really. I was just like, why? Why me all day long? It's always funny the next day. It always lasts one day for me where I'm just like, everything is going wrong. I'm stubbing my toe, the internet doesn't work, there's crumbs on the floor, which is apparently like the worst thing in the world. And then the next day I wake up and I'm like laughing at myself. Ken laughs at me too, so that's helped me get out of my funk. But yeah, I think he's gone. So we're filming. Very exciting video today. My first Amsterdam haul. I bought all this stuff since we moved to Amsterdam. I've been doing my research and finding all the best thrift stores, vintage shops, on my little bike, going around town, finding all the good stuff. So I've picked up a few things along the way. Maybe eventually I'll do a video on my favorite thrift stores in Amsterdam that you can refer back to if you ever visit the area, or if you live here, then that would be helpful too. But I have found some good ones, like proper charity shops, thrift shops, where you're like digging through a whole lot of crap to find that hidden gem, as well as like vintage shops. I kind of interchange the two words a lot, so I call this a thrift haul, but it's like vintage, thrift, secondhand, whatever you want to call it. Thrift to me is like getting an old H&M t-shirt for €2 in a charity shop or something. And then the vintage stuff I think is technically defined as something beyond older than a certain year, a certain decade. I can't remember the exact numbers now. A lot of the like popular like hipster kind of shops right in town are more like the pre-picked vintage shops. So they find all the good stuff from the charity shops, bring them into their shop, so you have a pick of all the good stuff, which kind of ruins it for me. I don't really like it. I prefer a proper like Salvation Army, Savers, like proper secondhand shops where when you don't want to donate something, you put it into a garbage bag, take it over to the shop, and then they put it on their shelves. Like that's the kind of stuff I want to see. Just random crap that I can dig through, not like pre-chosen stuff. Having said that, I do enjoy some of the vintage shops around here. They are really good for a few things, which I have some in here. So we have a bit of a mix of both in here, charity shops and the vintage shops. I'm gonna start off in the actual vintage shops. So these are the shops that come up straight away when you're on Google. If you type in thrift shop, secondhand shop, vintage shop, they're very hipster. There's a lot of the same stuff in there. They've got the shearling coats, the leather jackets, the camo pants, flannels, Levis, sneakers, all that kind of stuff. But they've got like 50 of them. So if you're looking for something in a specific kind of area, then might be good, but for me, I prefer to dig. But I still will shop there, and generally the prices are more too, which is like, ugh, I hate that. What the hell is going on with these planes? They're just circling around. And I've also picked up quite a few homeware items since we moved. So I'll save that for the end. Start with the clothing. So the first thing I picked up, I think you guys have actually seen this in a vlog recently, a flannel. I have quite a few from home that I really love. They were also thrifted, but I left them at home because we moved here when it was like sweltering hot, and I just couldn't imagine stuffing big chunky flannel like this into a suitcase where every square inch is like worth its weight in gold. So I left them behind knowing that I'd probably be able to find something very similar when we got here, and I did, thankfully. And I actually love this one better than the ones I have at home, so it all worked out. I always love a red and blue flannel. This is like classic flannel colors for me. I always get my flannels in the men's section. It has to be big, oversized, like you're wearing your husband or your boyfriend's flannel, and I want it to make sure it covers my bum. I just like that look, especially with jean shorts. I like when it covers the whole backside and then you can leave it open in the front, which is a plain white t-shirt. This one in particular is awesome because it's got the corduroy lined on the collar here, as well as on the cuffs, which I love. I think that's a cool little detail. And I loved the, is it gonna focus there? I love the label on it too. It's actually Beverly Hills Polo Club USA. So yeah, and it's so soft. Like some of them can be a bit crunchy and more like a dress shirt. This is like a proper comfy flannel. I love it. I think that was about 12 euros, which is pricey for me. My flannels I get at home, I get for like $4 Canadian. So, but I loved it so much, I went for it. Second item, again from another vintage shop, like these pre-picked vintage shops. These shops are great if you're looking for Levi's in particular. I bought a few pairs since we moved and they have a massive selection. I did find one pair that I really loved on one of my first trips over there. So they are classic vintage Levi's with the little red tab, all classic Levi signatures. So these are a waist 30, length 32, the 501 Levi Strauss. So I wanted like an oversized boyfriend fit again. I don't know. My style has become much more casual since we moved to Amsterdam, but I have been looking for something like this for a while. This you cannot find in thrift stores at home. Like they're just completely, they're long gone. Years and years ago, Levi's were gone out of the vintage shops. Probably because they were bought up by shoppers for their vintage shops. It does make it easy when they're all in one place. You can try a bunch of different pairs on, different styles, see what works best for you. These ones I really loved the color especially. That beautiful mid-tone blue. They fit well at the waist, but they have like an oversized fit through the leg and especially down past the knee, and then I can easily wear boots that go up inside the jean, and they look really great with flats too. So I keep mine rolled up. They're nice straight leg cut, but these were actually a really good price. I think they're only 30 euros at these shops, so to me that is not bad. New Levi's can be much more than that, and I actually prefer the old ones that have been worn half to death already. So I was really happy when I found those, and they are super comfortable because the denim's already worn obviously, so it's like wearing cool leggings basically. And then the last item I got from one of these pre-picked shops, it's actually one of the first things I bought when we got here actually, so it was still summertime. I don't know how much use I'll get out of these now that it's like full-blown winter all of a sudden. It just happened overnight. But these little silk pants in a brown and taupe color, tan and taupe, that's what my dad would have called it. His wedding suit was tan and taupe. It's very 70s colors, but the shape of the pant is also very vintage. So they sit really high up at the waist. They fit me. There's one of those things I put on, and it was like a locking key. I just love that feeling. You just zip it up, little button goes on. Just fits like perfect at my waist here. Exactly where I like it to sit too, right at the small of my waist, so it accents, gives you a nice shape. And then it just flows nicely away from the hip. There's no pockets in these, but I mean, not every pair of pants can have pockets in them. It would be nice if they did, but they're in a really nice, silky, smooth silk fabric. I actually don't know if there's a label here as to what they're made of, but the label on the inside is really cool. It says Paris Poppy Morelli, I think is what it says. Size 66. I don't even know what that means, but they seem really old, which I like. My favorite things to find are homemade things. These almost look homemade, but they're not because they've got that Paris label on the inside there. Cool little covered button at the top, and then they just have a nice straight leg. So in the summer, I wore them with a cropped t-shirt, oversized, so that you kind of, it gives a nice silhouette if it tucks in at the waist, and then that your shirt hits about the same height as the pants, but sits a little bit out, if that makes sense. I'll try to insert a picture here if I still have it somewhere. And then my little slide Tom shoes that I had with my tote bag, and I felt like a real Amsterdamer that day. I'll still be able to wear these through winter. I'll probably just wear tights underneath them, boots, and a cropped sweater. So same idea, just winterized. These again were on the pricier side. I want to say they were 25 euros. This was before I realized that there were plenty of charity shops that I could actually go to, and I thought those were my only options. So, plus those were a one-of-a-kind item. There was only one of them there, which made me feel better about getting them because that's not always the case in these shops. So they felt like they were worth the 25 bucks. Okay, and this one I got from a shop that's kind of an in-between shop. It's not really like a pre-picked. The other shops feel a little bit more touristy to me, but this one was like owned by an older lady. There was lots of random crap and stuff for older people, I would say. Not really stuff that you would see me wearing, but I thought I would have a look through it anyways. I was actually vlogging that day if you caught it, and I happened to stumble across this. It was 50% off that one day, so I couldn't help but grab it. Again, it just fit perfectly at the waist, and I just had to take it home with me. I just thought it was so cute. It's very Little Bo Peep in my mind, but I think you can dress it up and dress it down too, and it's gonna work through the winter and fall as well. So the giant white maxi skirt, but it's like full A-line, almost like a duvet cover kind of material. If you can hear it, has a good sound to it. Lots of fabric. Like I feel like I'm on stage for some sort of theatrical performance when I'm wearing this thing, and I just want to dance around. Even when I walk, I almost trip on it because there's just so much fabric. And it kind of reminded me of a wedding dress too, so that's probably part of the reason that I bought it as well, because it just felt so grandiose. It might actually be one of the skirts, a skirt that you wear underneath another skirt, you know, like a skirt to fill it out. What's it called? Like an underskirt kind of thing that you see people put underneath wedding dresses and stuff to hold its volume underneath it. It kind of feels like that's maybe what it was. It's really heavy, like a lot of fabric. Again, with a really cool label on the inside that's fallen apart, very retro, vintage. Seems like a real vintage item. And again, I just felt like a princess in it, so I had to take that home with me. I wore it not long ago just with a plain white tank top and my crimpy hair, and I think I've worn it once. Oh yeah, and I wore it with a sweater as well too, so it's gonna work well with boots, sweaters, all that, so it'll transition nicely. And that one I think I paid 15 euros for. So it was originally 30 and it happened to be on sale that day. I probably wouldn't, no, I wouldn't have bought it for 30 euros, I don't think. 30 euros is like vintage Levi price for me, so I probably would have left it, but it happened to be on sale, so it was meant to be. And then the last clothing item I have to share for today, I think, is something very Halloween themed. I saw it and I just, let's see, what do you think when I hold this up? To me, it screamed Chucky, which is one of my favorite Halloween movies, specifically Bride of Chucky. I've been watching it like non-stop, and this reminded me so much of his little outfit. This is one of the items I got from an actual thrift shop, so I think this was like 2 euros. It might have been 1.50. Like everything in that shop is so cheap. You know, it's a lot of crap, but once in a while you find something super cool. I found a few other things, but I'll include it in another thrift haul, I think, because this video is going to get way too long. But I just love this one. I'm going to wear it tucked into my jeans. Probably wear it a few times before Halloween hits and sit down and watch my Bride of Chucky movie. So this one's actually from H&M, but cost me a few bucks. Thought it was a great find. It's in really good condition, so she came home with me. I think most of the time I'll be wearing it with my vintage Levi denim, or I think it would look really good tucked into white jeans as well, as a little pop of primary colors on the top half. So very excited for that. Again, works really well for fall, and you can't beat it for 2 bucks. Costs less than a pumpkin spice latte. Okay, and then moving on to a few homeware things. A lot of you have seen these on my Instagram a few times. I've shown them, or you can actually see one of them here. So this is the one that I actually picked up first. Again, from a true thrift store. I actually vlogged there a few times, but it is basically a storage locker that this guy owns. He apparently travels all over Europe, going to different flea markets and estate sales and stuff, picks things up, loads up his whole truck, drives it back here, and stuffs it inside that huge storage room. But literally there's just stuff piled on top of each other all the way to the ceiling of this place. Like you cannot see all the way to the back. There's a tiny little walkway that's 1 person wide to get all the way through it. So I pop in there every so often just to see what's new on the top of the pile. The guy is super funny too. He's hilarious. So happy, dancing around and singing. Not like he's kooky or anything, but he's just like such a happy, joyous person. Loves his little shop, loves talking to people. He's like the perfect person to own that place, so it makes it even more fun to go in there. Plus everything is really reasonably priced. So I think everything but one item is from him. This being the first one. I got this not long after we moved into this apartment because I wanted to add a few more carpets. I think I paid 10 euros for it. I loved the colors of it. It's kind of like burnt orange, warm tones, blackish navy, blues, beiges, so it works really well in the hallway here. The problem with it is that it absorbs dirt and hair. Like I don't even know where all this dirt comes from. We're not dirty people. I clean all the time. And the amount of hair, there's more hair on this thing weekly than there is on my head, I swear. So it's just one of those materials. It just like sucks it all in, which drives me nuts. But I've got myself a good lint roller, and that works best. I shake it out the window and then I lint roll it, and it literally takes almost a whole roll to get it clean, at least once a week, which is crazy. But these again are like true vintage carpets that have come from all over the world. So they're not always meant to be like area rugs and carpets in a home. A lot of them are meant to be tapestries on a wall or decor on a dining room table back in the day. But for us, it's only gonna be on the floor, so I'm just gonna have to keep lint rolling her. I love her enough, I'm committed. This one I got not too long ago. I just thought it was adorable and I couldn't leave it behind. It was like a little puppy looking at me. I think I paid €5 for it. I thought it would work perfect in our little toilet bathroom here. It's just a tiny little, just has a little sink and the toilet in there. So found this little guy. Look how cute he is. He looks even more he. I don't know why that one's a she and this is a he. It looks a little bit more of a bright red on camera. It's a little more burgundy in person, but I just thought it was so cute. It's just big enough to put your feet on while you're sitting on the toilet having your pee. And it's got the nice little fringe, which I always like. For me, that always makes a carpet, like a Persian style carpet like this, look a little bit more expensive. There's no labels on it or anything, but it looks like a nice quality carpet. It probably came from, well, I have no idea, somewhere in the world, but it's not cheaply made and I got it for €5. It looks so cute in our bathroom. I'll eventually do a little tour through the house, kind of like a midway through decorating because we're nowhere near yet, but I can show you where all this stuff lives and the Zara stuff, where all that ended up as well. So I'll do a little walkthrough at some point so you'll see this guy in the bathroom. It's my new little buddy. Keeps my feet warm while I'm peeing. And then the third one I bought from him, I got at the same time I got the little guy, is another Persian style carpet. This one is kind of in between the size of the big guy and the little guy. Again, I just love the colors. Has the little tassels on the end, multicolored tassels. This one feels a little more Christmassy to me because it has like the Christmas tree green in it. It was a really great size to have just in front of my dresser here. So it's kind of decorated this room up a little bit. I think I could do with another one in here actually. If I found another one this size, I would probably add it in here as well. Just do a bunch of little mini carpets everywhere. Eclectic and different, but interesting, I think. But yeah, it has reds, greens, beige, oranges, all kind of warm colors. And I think it was, I want to say this one was about €10. So €15 for the two little carpets, I think is pretty good for like good quality, nice carpets that you'd pay a lot more for anywhere else. We're still hoping to get out to that other flea market in the north, and I know there are quite a few stalls with carpets and homeware stuff, so there might be more homeware, more carpets coming in future hauls. Okay, and one more item from the same shop. It's actually a picture. I found this, I was on my way out of the place actually. It's so hard to see anything in there. It's really hard to know if there's something that you actually want to buy in there, but you just gotta have, like, hone your eye in, and you just kind of have to be ready to hunt. But I was on my way out and I just saw this kind of buried, tucked underneath I think it was like underneath a table, down low to the ground, and I thought, that might be actually kind of perfect for what we're going for. There's no price tags on anything, so I had to kind of like wiggle it out of its way, out of its spot there, and then ask him how much it cost. So he tried to play a trick on me actually. He was like, oh wow, that's an original, very fancy, very expensive. He was like, I'm just kidding. It's a replica, €5. So yeah, it's definitely a replica. But I thought it came in a nice little simple gold frame. I like the way it looks just leaning up against a wall. And it works perfectly in our living room right now. I have it leaning up against our clothing rack downstairs. These planes, oh my god. The devil is coming alive. Yeah, I thought it was just really simple, pretty, a little reminiscent of our stay in France last year. It's kind of opposite tones to what we have here. These are more like warm tones and whatnot, and downstairs we have quite a few cooler tones, but I'm gonna try to work in a little bit more of the warm tones. I'm not afraid of mixing the cool and the warm tones, so this is gonna be on the cool tone side of things, but it still feels warm with the gold metal, I think. So yeah, I think that was pretty good for €5. She'll live somewhere at some point. I do have plans for her, but we don't have the other piece that I need for her to be in her final resting place. And then the last thing I got was this little vase here. Vases can be expensive. Drives me nuts. So I refuse to pay, you know, €17 for a vase at H&M or something like that. This little guy cost me €2, and no, I think it was actually $1.50. Pretty sure it was $1.50. So that was a pretty good deal. These flowers are a little bit tall for this little vase, but the roses that we get often from the grocery shop are bit lower and they're the perfect size for this. So instead of spending money on the vase, I can buy myself some extra bundles of roses to put in it. It could also be used as like a giant cup too. It kind of looks like one of those giant Starbucks cups. If you wanted like a really large iced coffee, there you go. Multi-purpose. Okay, I think that's all I've got for you today. I hope that wasn't too discombobulated. I literally had to stop filming like every 2 minutes to wait for the plane. I think we must be right on a flight path. Good thing I wasn't filming yesterday. Woof! They would have had an earful. Would have been calling the airport. Kidding. But I would have been yelling at somebody for sure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it despite all the jumping around pausing. If you happen to live in Amsterdam, let me know what your favorite thrift stores and vintage shops are. I would love to know. I'm going to be visiting hopefully all of them in Amsterdam at some point. Let me know what your favorite item in this whole haul was. I'm very curious to know. Mine probably, nope, I can't choose. What's your favorite? I would love to know. Make sure you follow along on Instagram. It's just at Andrea Clare. There's 2 A's in the beginning there. And subscribe because there will be another thrift haul coming. I've got a bunch more stuff. Didn't all fit in one video, so I've kind of broken it all down. And check out my blog if you have time because I've been trying to post over there a little bit more. I don't even know if you can hear that, but to me it's like super loud right above our roof here. And if you're really eager, then make sure you hit that notification bell with the little subscribe button so you get notified when there's a new video going live. Okay, that is a wrap on the thrift haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.